This looks like the clipboard of an employee of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, spring 2004, Monday, 24th. Initial investigations into the reports of the strange sightings in the LA sewers started today. Entered Quadrant 13. We'll move into both 14 and 15 later on in the afternoon. Quadrant 13 seems normal. Tuesday, 25th. Quadrant 13 checked out, but heard unidentified noises at various points in both Quadrants 14 and 15. Called in dispatch to confirm that no other inspectors were working in the area. There were none. Coordinates noted. Investigation into 16 tomorrow. Wednesday, 26th. Strange noises, undoubtedly some sort of animal, heard again in Quadrant 16. I saw what may have been the animal at the intersection of corridors 63A and 64B, but could find nothing upon further investigation. There were strange prints in the mud on the edge of the corridor, almost hand-like, although it was difficult to make them out in the darkness. Thursday, 27th. More prints found in corridor 73D. They disappeared into what looked like an entrance into an older part of the sewers. Called dispatch to see if they had blueprints of the old sewer section, but they didn't. Requested advice on how to proceed, and dispatch told me to continue with caution tomorrow. Friday, 28th, 8 a.m. Began investigation of the older part of the sewers this morning. Saw again what I believe to be an animal, although I don't know exactly how to classify it. The skin seems bare, almost reptilian. I can hear it constantly, almost as if it is following me, although the echoes down here make it impossible to gauge distance. Friday, 28th, 9:15 a.m. Can't seem to raise dispatch on the radio, so unable to check in. There's a smell that has become more and more pronounced as I travel further into the old sewers. Undoubtedly the carcass of an animal washed down here in the last big rain. Investigations continue. Friday, 28th, 11:31 a.m. Found the source of the smell, and it looks to be human remains. Immediately called dispatch, but was unable to reach them. The body seems to be that of a transient, but there are tears, massive tears in the flesh that indicate an animal may have recently fed upon the corpse. I've noted the coordinates of the body, and am returning immediately to report my findings. Friday, 28th, 1:22 p.m. I have become temporarily lost in the old tunnels, and repeated attempts to reach dispatch have ended in failure. The animal sounds I heard before have begun to approach again, and I fear that I may be being hunted. As a precaution, I have unholstered my weapon. Friday, 28th, 5:30 p.m. Undoubtedly lost. I may have traveled deeper into the old sewers. Something is following me, I know it. Can't reach dispatch. Battery's running out, and my flashlight. God help me, saw a creature, some sort of monstrosity, teeth and blood. Can't get out, no more light, can't reach anyone, please, oh God. The writing trails off, spattered with what looks to be blood. This looks to be the weekly log of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, 1972. March 3rd, 72. Reports concerning the recent hauntings in the sewer system have prompted the mayor to request a weekly log of all operations in the lower sewer section 453 to 500. Log begins today. Nothing to note, although I will say that I find the stories to be unsubstantiated and ridiculous. March 10th, 72. Both investigative teams this week reported nothing of note, although one individual, who may be apt to nip at the flask more often than not, noted that he heard what he could only describe as whispers in one of his sweeps along section 476. Undoubtedly, these were the product of an overactive and thoroughly soused imagination. March 17th, 72. Nothing to report. Operations normal. March 24th, 72. Things have been hectic with the recent rash of sightings in sections 498 and 499. Although mostly described as shadowy figures, the reports come from men whose word I trust, discounting the usual stories about underground societies of displaced vagrants and rabid, blind pets. I'm at a loss to explain these observations. I will join the teams tomorrow to see for myself what is going on down there. April 1st, 72. I've traveled with the team down into the sections in question, and I must admit that I saw and heard things that I could not explain. More than once I heard the same whispers as described before, and I chased what I thought to be a figure down a corridor, only to turn the corner and find myself facing a brick wall. What looked to be an older section of the sewers that had been sealed up. There was no one in sight, although I could have sworn I heard laughter echoing in the darkness around me. I'll be forced to report my findings to the mayor himself on Friday. April 8th, 72. The mayor has sworn us all to silence concerning these new sightings, but has promised us an answer concerning a course of action within the week. Inquiries about previous LADWP records and reports have met with strange resistance. It seems they've been sealed for official reasons. Something is amiss down here. April 15th, 72. We received word from the mayor today that sections 475 through 500 will be sealed off permanently, and that no further inquiry into the matter will be tolerated. I have a few connections at the front office, and it seems that something like this has happened before. It's something that the city council doesn't want to become public. My contact said he couldn't say any more, and that if I said anything to anyone, he would deny any knowledge whatsoever. April 22nd, 72. The sewer sections close tomorrow, and the city engineers have bricked up the corridors that lead to them. This office falls within section 482, so it will be closed as well. As no one has requested the ledgers, all materials and records concerning this will be left down here to rot with the ghosts. Sorry about that, but as no official eyes will ever see this, I figured I could wax dramatic on this last day. Log closed. This looks to be the weekly log of Douglas Streets, foreman of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, 1957. July 9th, 57. The disappearance of sewermen Whitman, Price, and Haddad has launched an attack in the papers on the department. It has fallen to me to try and ascertain their fate. I will do so to the best of my ability. July 10th, 57. Forays into the uncharted regions of the sewers have been fruitless as of yet. City Hall has been unable to produce blueprints of these sections, and so we continue forth blindly. July 11th, 57. I have been witness to many strange and inexplicable sounds and events and can only be the very oldest sections of the Los Angeles sewers. I found a rusted plaque that read LADWP 1902. The events I can only describe as otherworldly, both in sound and texture, as well as in the feeling it gave upon my skin, a coldness. Shadows and whispers. I have no explanation for these except perhaps the creations of my own overtaxed mind. We will continue tomorrow. July 12th, 57. Still no sign of the missing men, but the fear grows in my mind that something truly evil resides in the lowest sections of those sewers. Though I wish not to tell some Lovecraftian tale, I can only say what lies in my heart. I wish no longer to travel down those dark corridors, and my opinion is that those poor men fell victim to some old and ancient evil that resides there. I will tell the mayor what I have seen, and pray that he does not take me for a madman. July 15th, 57. The mayor has listened to my report with the utmost earnestness and has decided most wisely to brick up those lowest sections of the sewers in which I witnessed those frightening, phantasmal events. The public will be told that Whitman, Price, and Haddad were lost in these sections because they were old and unsafe, and therefore he will justify his closing of them through the unfortunate vehicle of their unexplained deaths. So be it. I pray their souls find safe haven in some lighter refuge of the afterlife. I, myself, have resigned from the department. I no longer have the wish to delve into the dark places of the earth. I leave this ledger here, unseen and bricked away from human eyes, so that perhaps the memory of these things will disappear as well. Sincerely, Douglas Streets, Foreman, LADWP.